gods and goddesses, welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather and today we are doing the Books and Bakes tag while making the lemon tarts from Heartless by Marissa Meyer. Inspired to do this video partly because it is the Christmas season and I always love to bake in the Christmas season. I also just reread Heartless by Marissa Meyer, which I promise this is the last video you guys are going to hear me gush about this book in. And I also saw M Loves Books recently do this tag while making amazing chocolate chip cookies. Of course, I can't film a video without making any mistakes. I got her channel name wrong. Her name is M Likes Books, not Loves Books, so correction on the strength of preference. So all of those things together inspired me to do this video and make these lemon tarts that basically open up the book. And they're so deliciously described that I just needed to make my own and fulfill that craving of delicious lemon tarts. So that is what we're doing today. This tag was created by Life as a Page Turner, so I will link her channel down below and the original tag video, so go check that out. It is amazing and such a brilliant idea. And I will also link the recipe down below that I will be using if you are interested in recreating it yourself. It is a very simple recipe. I didn't make my own pie dough or really anything like that, so this should be pretty easy. I'm not like the greatest baker in the world, but like I can follow some directions, so that's something, right? You may not be able to see exactly what I'm doing here, but hopefully, you know, you get the gist of it. Right now, I am just going to put some flour on the little cookie sheet so I can roll out the dough. I'm just going to take just a little circle cookie cutter and just make as many circles as I can. Okay, so we're going to get into the tag. The first question is cupcakes. Name a collection of short stories, poems, or anthologies where you couldn't read just one section and had to go back for another. I have an absolute perfect recommendation for this one, and it's one that I haven't gotten the chance to talk about on my channel yet because that video has not gone up yet. But it is Wake Siren by Nina McLaughlin. This is a feminist retelling of Ovid's Metamorphosis. So every single story in Metamorphosis is retold through a feminist lens. And it is so cathartic and angry and just beautifully written. Each of the story has its own narrative quality to it. It is each written differently, so you have some that are more conversation based and you have others that are more poetic based, and they are just so incredible, and I was extremely moved by every single story in this. It's so important. You guys know I preach all the time feminist Greek retellings on my channel because they are just so important, because ancient Greece and the Greco-Roman world is just so patriarchal, and so these feminist retellings just do a lot to the interpretations of myths. So I'm just going to spray this pan. I just have a little muffin pan, and I'm just going to place these little dough circles right inside. You're not going to be able to see, so you're just gonna have to take my word for it. But I will show you guys once I have them all done. So I'm just going to place these in. Okay, so now I have all of my little mini lemon tarts. They are all looking great, and now I'm just going to preheat my oven to 450. The next question is lemon pound cake. Name a book that has over 400 pages or more and you considered a comfort read or a classic. This one, hands down, is going to go to Graceling by Kristen Cashore. I read this book in my very early days of Goodreads, where I was just barely active on the site, but I heard about this book and I saw it floating around and I read it and I became absolutely obsessed with it. It tells the story of Katza, who is a Graceling, and in this world, Gracelings are people who have these special abilities, and Katza's ability is killing. She is an assassin for her uncle, who is this super corrupt king. This one is such a good book because it really reads exactly like a movie, and it's so action-packed, and it has those classic YA fantasy tropes, but it's done just so well. I love this series so much. It's a series of standalones and each one is just so incredible, and I loved the world building. If you haven't read Graceling, it's just one of those booktube darlings that is just worth the hype. It really is. The next question is Red Velvet Cake. Name a book you thought was one thing but was completely different. For this one, I think I'm definitely gonna have to go with Captive Prince by C.S. Picot. This is a recent read for me, so I'm sure you guys have heard me talk about this recently, but I went into this expecting a romance. I went in expecting a like smutty new adult, very taboo kind of romance story, but what I got was a book heavily based in political intrigue, foreign affair, world building kind of book, and that was definitely not what I was expecting, and it was a very nice surprise, and I ended up enjoying it quite a lot, and I'm very excited to continue with this series. I have my lemon mixture, and the next question is chocolate chip cookie dough. Name a book or a book series that you can read over and over again even though you know that it's bad for you. Well, right off the bat, no book is bad for you. I guess I would say Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, just because it's bad for my emotional state. So I suppose that would be my answer. And if you don't know what Song of Achilles is about by now, you clearly are new here. It is a retelling of the Iliad, and it shows Patroclus and Achilles as lovers, as they were intended to be shown as. And it's my absolute favorite book of all time. So there you go. Now I am going to transfer my lemon mixture to the little cups. And here is what they look like. I don't want to tip them because the lemon curd is very liquidy. So I am just going to pop this in the oven for about 8 minutes. I'm going to make sure to check it and see where they are while they're cooking. Hello, welcome to my oven. Now that those are in the oven, I am freely able to talk to you guys without worrying about burning my kitchen down or messing up this recipe. The next question is apple pie a la mode. Name a book that was really good but could have been better with a little bit of ice cream. For this one, I think I'm gonna go with Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. This is the concluding book in the Folk in the Air series, and I thought the book was good on its own, but it just needed a little bit of ice cream, and by ice cream I mean a little bit of plot, because this book doesn't really have a lot of that, and I just wish the book was a little bit more spicy and less soft and fluffy. I wish it was a little more gritty. I wish it had a little bit more oomph to it, which now that I'm thinking, I guess ice cream would just insinuate more fluff, but in this case my ice cream is bitterness, and I wanted some bitter coffee ice cream, let's say, to go with the overtly sweetness that this entire book was. The next question is gingerbread cookies. Do you like your gingerbread cookies crunchy or soft? Obviously soft. If you like your cookies soft, name a book that was squishy in the middle, but the beginning and the end were really good. Ooh, okay. I think for this one, I'm gonna go with The Bone Witch by Rin Chupeco. I listened to this book on audio, so take that with a grain of salt, because I even know that before I continue on with this series, I want to read it physically because there's just so much to this world. And I fell in love with the world, and especially the beginning and the end, but the middle I found dragged out so much. The Bone Witch is following this girl, and we follow it in dual perspective. So we follow her as she is coming to her power as a necromancer, and we fast forward to the future where she is this villainous character and the whole world seems to revere her and fear her, and she is telling her story to this bard, and that has got to be probably, saying it right now, maybe my favorite fantasy trope of all time. I really enjoyed this world and the magic system and the culture, because this is a very Southeast East Asian inspired fantasy, which is amazing. Rin Chupeco is a Filipino author, and I really loved the potential of this book, and I definitely want to revisit this book very soon. The next question is brownies. Are you a corner piece or a middle piece? Corner piece. If you are a person who's a middle piece for the brownies, grow up and get better taste buds. You know what? Before I even answer that question, and since we're in my kitchen and we're baking baked goods, I'm gonna plug something real quick. So if you like brownies, you need a square brownie pan, because listen, it has the best of both worlds, because you get your individual brownie square, so the whole outside has that crunchiness and chewiness, and it's just, oh, it's so good. And then the middle part, you get the soft middle. It's just, this pan is literally the best pan to make brownies in, and I could never have brownies any other way. So I'm gonna try to find one of these and link it down below from Amazon. This one is the Pampered Chef one. So, but yeah, if you like brownies and you don't have this pan yet, your life is about to be changed. But anyways, back to the books and the question. If a corner piece, name a book that starts off strong and then all comes apart. For this question, I think I'm gonna go with Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. This is a story set in Victorian England following our main character Audrey Rose, and she is training to become a mortician. She finds herself through her training and through her education caught up in the Jack the Ripper murder cases. This one, I really liked the concept, and so at the start I actually enjoyed the execution. I thought it was a really fun YA series, but then the ending and the reveal on who Jack the Ripper was, one, just didn't make much sense, and two, seemed out of the blue, and three, it just wasn't great in my opinion. It wasn't a good time, so for that reason I wasn't a fan of this book, and I have yet to continue with the series. The next question is birthday cake. Name a book series or an author that you feel like keeps coming out with a book, short story, novella every year. Okay, so I know the typical answer is like Cassandra Clare or Sarah J. Maas, because they just have a very long catalog and a very long backlist. But you know what? I think I'm gonna go with Christina Lauren. I haven't read a Christina Lauren book, so this isn't me like bashing the books or having an opinion at all on the books, but it seems like they write quite a lot of books and they knock them out like nobody's business. I think that's a trend overall in romance, but I could be completely wrong about that. It seems like romance is a very saturated genre, and it seems that authors are expected to put out like even more than like YA fantasy or anything like that. Okay, so these are literally almost done. I think I'm gonna take them out right now because they're getting a little brown. Where are my oven mitts? I guess we're using a towel. Just be safe out there, kids. They smell like baked goods, so that's good. While those are simmering over there, I am going to finish off the tag, so I only have one question left, and the last question is carrot cake. Name a book that sounded healthy for you but ended up being unhealthy either with content or put you in a reading slump. I'm not one of those people who tend to get triggered much by content in books because I usually don't read like hard-hitting books to begin with, so I usually don't get exposed to really dark themes like that. And for reading slumps, because I have a channel and you guys actually hold me accountable for reading, so I'm reading pretty much all the time, but I think I am going to go with Before the Devil Breaks You by Libba Bray, because that was the last book that I read in October, and I think, or very early November. And November, I didn't have much ambition to do anything, so I wasn't really reading much, I wasn't creating much content, so I guess that would be the book. And this isn't surprising because I didn't exactly enjoy it all that much, which is a very unpopular opinion because this seems to be a favorite amongst people who love this series. If you don't know, Before the Devil Breaks You is the third book in the Diviner series, which is a series that takes place in 1920s New York with a cast of characters that each have some sort of magical ability. This one, first of all, is so long. The audiobook for this one is over 20 hours long, and I just do not have the dedication to this series or love for this series to want to listen to a book for 20 hours. You know what I mean? It's a good series, don't get me wrong. It is an objectively good series. It has great representation in it. It really calls out the bullshit of US history. But I'm not a personal big fan of it. I don't know why that is, because I like the story, I like the characters. It's not something that I'm gung-ho for. So that was the last book, and I'm not surprised that it put me in a reading slump because it was super long. I will say though that the cliffhanger in this book is phenomenal, like Thunderhead worthy cliffhanger. So I will give it to Libba Bray for doing that because she really did the damn thing with that ending. Alright, so my tarts are cooled, they are ready to go, and now in the words of Kath, we're just going to do a little pinch of powdered sugar. Let it snow, baby, let it snow. I'm putting a little bit more powdered sugar than Kath would probably advise, but you know what? Kath is in here. That's fine with me. I would like to keep my head, thank you. And now just wipe off the excess for presentation. Yes, I grew up on Food Network channel, you know. And here they are. I think they look so cute. Now I'm going to try one. Let's just take the middle one. Why not? Now they are still a little warm, but oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I love lemon so much. Oh my gosh, these are so good. I'm sure they don't even compare to Kath's cooking ability or baking ability, but I think I did a pretty good job. Alright you guys, so that is going to be the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed this kind of different, unconventional style booktube video. I know I had such an amazing time. Please read Heartless by Marissa Meyer. If I haven't convinced you yet, I mean, I made Kath's lemon tarts. Let me know down below what your favorite bookish treat is, and maybe I'll do another one of these videos in the future. If you did enjoy this video, please make sure to leave a like. It really helps me out in this channel, and make sure you're subscribed so you get more bookish content and perhaps even more baking bookish content. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye!